And I recognize the request for the floor from the representative of the Russian Federation. Vassily, you have the floor. You have the floor.
Спасибо.
Thank you very much, Rhonda. Today, we once again heard, in particular from our UK colleagues, long familiar accusations. Russia did this. Russia must answer. What we do agree on is that the use of chemical weapons, if it did in fact take place, is unacceptable and must be punished. But that's where our agreement ends. We once again heard today not only about Alexei Navalny, but about the Skripals as well. And I would like to recall something that many have begun to forget and others prefer simply not to remember. A number of questions related to the Skripal incident remain unanswered. And the UK, our UK colleagues pretend to not notice those questions and to not provide any answers. The UK has already declared Russia to be at fault. So why go into details? Everybody already knows that it's highly likely. I think that we will find a way to refresh our British colleagues' memory regarding these issues and those questions and to demand answers to them. We're seeing the same scenario when it comes to Alexei Navalny. The conclusions have been made. The verdict has been issued. So now we simply need to admit to our fault. Meanwhile, responses to our very basic questions have not been provided by our German colleagues. They prefer to evade those questions. Our colleague assured us that exhaustive answers were provided to all questions put in the first committee by Germany. Here is the statement of our representative in the first committee with those questions. And answers from Germany did not follow. They remain unanswered. When it comes to Syria, we're also being convinced that without a shadow of a doubt, everything has been proven and Damascus simply now needs to admit that they are to blame and serve the punishment. The problem is that nothing has, in fact, been proven, and the IIT falsification is not evidence. The IIT is your toy for manipulation, and unfortunately, the OPCW is becoming a similar toy in your hands. We just heard a classic example of propaganda from our German colleague. He seemed to be attempting to brainwashing listeners when he kept repeating that there is no crisis of trust with the OPCW, that the Assad regime is killing its fellow citizens, including through the use of chemical weapons, and that these are proven facts, which Russia is trying to cover up. Well, it's a nice attempt at hypnosis, however, it's unconvincing. My dear Christoph, the problem is that nothing has been proven. Or more specifically, the proof that is provided is not convincing to anyone who's at all familiar with the civil war in Syria, unless for some reason in Germany you follow different laws of physics. You seem to be accepting any unconvincing stories and fairy tales at face value. Experts are providing you with dozens of specific and obvious points where the investigations of the OPCW simply don't add up, but you're preferring to ignore those. Participants in those investigations are indicating glaring cases of manipulation and falsification of facts. And this seems to be unimportant to you. When your approach is to not see the elephant in the room, we will not only not get to the bottom of the truth, but we will ultimately and irreversibly, as I have warned, discredit the OPCW. Thank you.
Thank you, Vassily, for your intervention.